In episode 2, I told you how his entire family knew about his secret wife and child, but I stayed silent, and how they all chose to stay silent while I built a life with him. But today, I need to tell you about something that still haunts me, something I'm ashamed to admit. I need to tell you why I never told. I never told my mother, not my sisters, not my closest friends. Let me take you back. When I first moved to that town, I was living with relatives. I wasn't alone. I had family around me. But shortly after I started dating him, things started to change with my relatives. They became jealous. They would take my phone and copy his number, calling him behind my back, trying to get his attention. I was hurt. I was angry. I felt so betrayed. And that's when he stepped in. He saw my pain and he used it. He would say, "You see, even your own family is jealous of you. Even your own relatives don't want to see you happy. They're trying to destroy what we have." He convinced me to leave their house and move in with him. And I did. But here's the thing. Even after I left my relatives, I still had my friends. I still had my mother. I still had my phone. I could call anyone, anytime. But I didn't. Why didn't I speak? When things started getting strange, when the red flags started appearing, when I started feeling confused and lost, not when I noticed inconsistencies in his stories, not when I felt isolated and alone in that village, not when I was putting all my money into a house that only had his name on it, not when he pressured me into decisions I wasn't comfortable with. I stayed silent. My friends would call me and I would tell them everything was fine. Great, even. I would smile, I would laugh, but I'd act like my life was perfect. But inside, I was struggling. My mother would ask how I was doing, and I would say I was happy, building my future. Inside, I had questions. Inside, something felt wrong. Why didn't I speak? So why didn't I say anything? I've asked myself this question 1,000 times. And the only answer I can come up with is this: he had manipulated me so deeply that I didn't even realize I was allowed to speak. He never explicitly told me, "Don't tell your family about this." He never said, "Keep this a secret." But somehow, without even saying it, he made me believe that what was happening between us was private. When Grace finally heard me, that our business was our business, that involving other people would be a betrayal of our relationship, he made me feel like talking to my friends or family about our relationship would be immature. Like it would mean I didn't trust him. Like it would mean I wasn't serious about it. I was so alone. But Grace finally heard me. He would say things like, "We're building something special. People won't understand. They'll try to interfere. They'll give you bad advice because they're not in our situation. They'll say we're special, that people won't understand." And I believed him. So when I had doubts, I kept them to myself. When I had questions, I asked only him. When I felt confused, I convinced myself I was overthinking. I became my own prison guard. I isolated myself not because he locked me away, but because he made me believe that silence was loyalty. And the worst part, I was good at pretending. I was so good at putting on a smile, at acting like everything was perfect, that no one around me suspected anything was wrong. My friends thought I was happy. My family thought I was thriving. No one knew I was slowly losing myself. This went on for months, maybe even longer. I can't even remember exactly how long I carried this weight alone. But then everything changed. The day I discovered he had a wife and a child, my entire world collapsed. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to turn. I felt like I was drowned. And for the first time, I knew I couldn't keep this to myself anymore. So I called my friend. She had tried to stay in touch, but I had been so wrapped up in him that I barely made daytime for her. But when my world fell apart, she was the first person I thought of. I called her and I told her everything. I told her about the wife, about the child, about the house, about the money I had invested, but lies, about the isolation. When Grace finally heard me, about everything, and I cried. I cried like I had never cried before. I expected her to judge me. I expected her to say, "I told you so." I expected to be angry that I had pushed her away. I was so confused, so ashamed for staying silent. But when Grace finally heard me, she told me it wasn't my fault. And I should have spoken up. "You didn't do the wrong things. You loved him. You trusted him. That's not wrong. What he did to you, that's wrong. What he did to you, wrong. But you did nothing wrong." And in that moment, I realized something. I had been carrying so much shame, so much guilt, so much self-blame. How could I have been so stupid? How did I not see this? Why didn't I tell someone sooner? I was so confused, so alone. I felt so much shame for staying silent, but I was not the villain, I was the victim. I didn't do the wrong things. I was manipulated, I was deceived, I was isolated, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. He had gotten into my head so deeply that I didn't even know I needed help until it was too late. After I talked to my friend, I started opening up to other people, my family, other friends. And every single one of them said the same thing my friend did. You didn't do the wrong things. He did. If you're in a relationship and keeping secrets, ask yourself why. Are you afraid of what people will say? Do you think it's too private to share? Are you worried they won't understand? Are you convinced their relationship is too special, too unique, too private to share with anyone? If the answer is yes, I need you to pay attention. I stayed silent for so long. Why didn't I speak up? Healthy relationships don't require secrecy. Healthy relationships don't make you feel like you can't talk to your friends or family about what's going on. Healthy relationships don't operate in the shadows. If you feel like you have to hide what's happening, that's a red flag. That's not because your relationship is special. It's because something's wrong. And if you're someone who has already been through this, someone who kept everything inside until it all fell apart, I need you to hear this. You didn't do the wrong things. You were manipulated. You were deceived. You were made to believe that silence was strength when really it was a cage. But you're out now. And you can speak now, and your voice matters now. Don't let shame keep you silent any longer. In the next episode, I'm going to tell you about something I've never spoken about publicly until now. About how he convinced me twice to terminate pregnancies, about how he used fear and manipulation to make me believe we weren't ready for children. It's going to be the hardest episode I've shared so far. But I'm sharing it because someone needs to hear it. I stayed silent for so long, and I don't know why. If this episode is resonating with you, stay with me. Episode 4 is coming on Thursday. And that is never wrong. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Silence is not loyalty. Secrecy is not love. If you can't tell the people who care about you what's happening in your relationship, that's not because your love is special. It's because something is wrong. Don't wait until everything falls apart to speak. Your voice is your power. Use it. Dearest, kindly subscribe to my channel and like my videos. I really need your encouragement to complete my story. God bless you.